I feel like we wouldn't have challengers if we didn't have Two for Tina. Welcome to the new Bob's Credit series, my favorite episode, where we have a very special guest join us to discuss their absolute favorite episode of Bob's Burgers. And then, using a series of qualifications, we all are going to decide if the episode is in fact a top-tier Bob's Burgers episode. I'm Max.
And I'm Skylar.
And our guest today is the professional screenwriter who shares entertainment industry tips and tricks on TikToks. It's Julia Yorks, everyone. Julia, we are so honored to have you joining us here.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here.
First things first, we want to know a little bit about your history with Bob's Burgers, how you got into it, when you got into it, and why.
Well, why not, right?
Perfect answer.
Thank you. That's it. That's all I have to say. I actually started my writing career in kids animation. And, you know, it was never a world that I particularly wanted to get into. I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons when I was younger. So I know I was a sheltered only child, but that's for a different podcast. And so, yeah, I think that getting immersed in that world, I started meeting a lot of people who would talk more about their favorite animated shows, and Bob's Burgers kept coming up a lot. We actually had John H. Benjamin on one of the episodes of Puss in Boots that I worked on. I think I might have actually written that episode, but I could have just made that up. But who's gonna fact check me right now? No one.
Not us.
Not us.
Not the internet. The
yeah,
internet
definitely not.
is so accommodating.
They're very kind.
Yeah, I've experienced that. So that was kind of my first foray into Bob's Burgers, just because I was in this animation world. Everyone was talking about it. And I just thought the show was so hilarious. I could not get enough of it. I did watch probably religiously until season 5 or 6, and then I did fall off. So outing myself here, but rewatching the show for this podcast, it's just so hilarious. And I think I might just find my way back to it.
Okay, we ask everyone this, and I think it says so much about a person, but what Belcher do you relate to the most?
Tina.
Yeah. Max kept saying, like, you're going to like Julia so much, you'll get along. This is the solid proof.
No, I'm obsessed. She just, every joke, she says something and then she'll explain it more. And
Yes.
I believe the best jokes are the ones you have to explain. She's just, the girl loves love. And you know what, honestly, in this episode, I was like taking notes. She was dating right. And I thought, man, Tina is killing the game. She's pretty suave.
She really is, and we're going to, like we were saying, urge you to watch some later episodes, because just the character growth and the arc she has, she's such an incredible character, and she really gets to shine as the series goes on.
Yeah, big Tina fan. Also, Lois, I think she's a fantastic wife.
Linda.
Oh, Linda.
Oh my God, Lois. I'm thinking of the wrong show. I think Linda is a fantastic, in this episode in particular, but in all, I mean, she's just so positive. She's so, she's just like really an anchor for the family. She's fun.
She's so fun because Bob is like, the straight man. And to have a woman actually get to be the fun one and not the nag is so refreshing.
What a fun family. For me, I think as an only child, it's fun to see how much the siblings all like rib one another too. But there's a lot of love there. I don't know. It's just it's a fun family dynamic.
We say it all the time. Unlike any other sitcom family, and even like, you just mentioned Lois, so like Family Guy.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't love each other. They're so mean to each other so much of the time. And this family, like they'll, like you said, they'll pick on each other.
Yeah.
But it comes from like this like kind place, and if they are too mean, they always step back and be like, whoa, I'm sorry. I love you. And it's just so sweet to watch. It's a kind humor.
It is. It is a kind humor.
Okay, I'm going to follow up with, which Belcher do you think would be the best screenwriter?
Gene. Yeah.
I love that.
Kid's got an imagination.
Especially for like a show like Bob's Burgers. His one-liners, honestly, can sometimes carry a mediocre episode.
It's very true. There's a part in this episode where Bob is talking about the dance or something, and he's one line in the whole scene, and he just jumps up from behind.
Get ready to shake it, Bobby. We're going to chaperone Tina's dance. Narc.
It really makes the episode. It's very funny.
Let's get into this episode. We gave you could pick any episode you absolutely wanted. Yeah. You gave us some options back. I noticed a lot of them, as you mentioned, were Tina-centric.
Big fan.
But then I said, Julia, you got to pick one. Which one did you choose, and why did you pick that one?
It's 2 for Tina. When I started talking to you guys about being on this podcast, that I think was one of the episodes that popped into my head first. Just the dance-off was something that I vividly remembered. And then going back and re-watching it, it was just everything that I had remembered. Weird and boy crazy and Tina-centric and also really fun, with Linda taking Bob to the other dance and giving him the dance of his dreams. The Cyrano bit with the horse, it really just had everything that I wanted from an episode of animation. I think it had all the different components that I was looking for.
Before we dive into our little test, I want to drop all of our listeners into the episode if they haven't seen it. So I'm going to read a short synopsis. When Jimmy Jr. gives Tina a soft maybe for the school dance, our girl decides to go with Josh, the dancer from the local performing arts school. In typical Jimmy Jr. fashion, he's now desperate to reclaim Tina, and of course, the rivalry culminates in a dance-off. Meanwhile, Linda volunteers to chaperone the Wagstaff dance to give Bob his first middle school dance experience.
One thing I have to say is that I feel like we wouldn't have challengers if we didn't have 2 for Tina.
Glad that this was the precursor to that. I bet he had a great reference point in Bob's Burgers.
Most likely, yes. All right, Max, are we ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so this is, as I mentioned, our top tier episode test. We are going to run it through these. There's 13 questions, I believe, and it has to hit a yes on 10 of them to be top tier. Ooh. If it's 9, we can argue to go either way.
Okay.
So let's see how we do. Are you ready for the first question?
I'm ready. Oh my God, I'm nervous.
First question is, does this episode make you feel all warm and fuzzy?
Oh, great question. I would say no. I don't think it's a warm and fuzzy episode. Maybe it would have been had not for the vomit shirt at the end.
Ooh, that was rough.
It was rough.
Warm and soggy?
Warm, definitely warm. For me, it also is Tina, she danced too close to the sun. And so she didn't get what she wanted, but she had a glimmer of just this great moment. So I wouldn't say that it's warm and fuzzy. No, I would say that it's everyone learns a lesson.
I'm going to agree. You almost get there when Linda gives Bob this opportunity because they can really push Bob into, we just feel so sorry for him as a character and you want everything good for him. But then they're grinding and vomiting on each other and it's, it's not quite as awe as some of the other episodes.
I'm going to say no too. And just like you said, there's that little glimmer of it, but it's not too heavy. And it's more I feel like they do a good job of tiptoeing on silly and warm and fuzzy. Yeah. And then kind of as the series goes on, they get a little bit more warm and fuzzy while still being silly. But this is we'll give you a little taste of it, but we're going right back to vomiting on my husband at a middle school dance.
Gross. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is, does this episode bypass rewatchability fatigue? Meaning, can you watch it over and over and over again?
I think I can. As I watched it multiple times just to be here with you today, and I was I didn't get tired of it. I found new jokes that I hadn't heard before or laughed out loud at old ones that I had heard. I mean, just Jimmy Jr. being the devil on Tina's shoulder, being
don't worry about who said it. Just watch the butt.
Haha. It's funny. He does have a butt. And so that, I think yes.
We were the same. I found more jokes. And then Max and I both cackled in our second rewatch when in the first act, they're in the kitchen And Linda says,
Aw, Bobby. That's what I love about you. All your sad stories. It's not sad.
it's just so funny.
It was really good. Or the moment where he like says something to Tina where she's like,
A yes is better than a maybe, sweetie. Don't end up like your father.
What?
Don't end up like your father.
it's so smart.
That line got us both too. It was so
Yeah.
funny. Well, and the performance of it.
I was going to say potentially controversial opinion, but I thought Jimmy Jr.'s dancing was better.
We both said that to each other. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too.
It was just better. It had more personality. It was more fun to watch. The music was better.
Maybe more universal. I don't know. It's just like Josh is very specific. He's stuck in one type of dance, whereas Jimmy Jr. you can be like, is he in Hamilton or is he in like Romeo and Juliet? What is he doing?
I wouldn't say Romeo and Juliet. I mean, maybe like a West Side Story take.
Yeah, or like the DiCaprio one.
Also, I do love when Tina says, he's like, oh, I do ballet. And she goes,
Oh, a bad boy. Cool.
what are you talking about? Like, it's just so good.
I'm going to say yes to this one too, because yeah, like we said, the first time I was like, okay, I get it. And then the second time I enjoyed it so much more. And I feel like I would enjoy it even more the next time I watch it. So I'm going to give that a pass there too.
All right. That makes me I feel good about this one.
The next question is, it's not a yes or no question, but it is, how is the JPM, which is jokes per minute?
I think it's pretty high. Is it like a high-low ranking? Is that the...
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty high. I laughed a lot. I took notes a little bit the second rewatch, and I was writing down everything that made me laugh, and I was like, wait, I'm just writing down every joke in this. So for me, it was high. I don't know. I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm going to say high too, based on the second watch, because there were not just like, it's like you said, like the writing, the jokes are always going to be funny because they just have excellent writers. But there's stuff like when Tina's walking up and the kids are dancing on the sidewalk, they're listening to Fame. Like that's a funny joke that's just like kind of like subtle and you might miss it. Tina's skirt stuck in her underwear. It's so funny. There's just like little visual things and like sonic things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's high. We watched an episode and it just felt like extremely high. I think OT outside toilet, and it was like, even on our third watch, we were finding new jokes. I don't think it's quite as high, but I think it's high. What was one of the jokes that I missed the first time? Oh, it's kind of a physical joke with a verbal joke, but Linda is standing at the window, and I think Louise says something like,
why do we have to get a stupid babysitter?
What did I say about using that word? You're not stupid, Jen.
I know.
like pulls back to show Jen just like sitting on the couch.
I also love them later at the dance. They're like, Tina's like, are you guys allowed to be here? She's like, we had to get out. We've been watching a finger for the last. It was just so like random.
That finger was grosser to me than the vomit. It like, oh.
Next question is, I love this question, is each character doing what that character does best?
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, Tina is definite. Well, you know what's so interesting is Tina is doing something so new for Tina. I don't know if it's what she does best, but she's juggling men, and that is honestly so unusual. She's horny, which is typical, but she's, she kind of has her cake and she's eating it too, and that I think is atypical. Everyone else, I would say, yeah, Bob's being kind of bitter, but usually he does have some sort of goal, I guess, that he's trying to do, and then things get thwarted. In this case, he doesn't really have a goal. I guess his goal is just to not go to the dance. Linda is meddling and pushing and trying to make everything better. So yeah, I would say yes. And Jean and Louise are, they're also meddling. The money thing where it was like, there, you can put a price on love and it's $20. And we will never tell Tina what you told us. And cut to, we're telling Tina what you told us. And So yeah, I think there's maybe with Tina, she's pining. So maybe that I would say yes and no.
She's thinking of butts, so like, that's there. Linda's being weird and wacky and over the top, and Gene, even like with his like sausage leg, what is it? Sausage pants? I don't know what the joke is.
I don't want sausage sweats.
Why? I'm wearing my sausage sweats right now.
And I think, Bob normally does have a goal, but he is being this anchor to his wacky wife, which I personally love. Also, this isn't on topic, but his slicked back hair to go to the dance. So sweet.
I love the Tina line where she just says,
Dad, if you believe you're beautiful, you will be. I did. But maybe we can do something about that hair? Did you wash it?
Man, having kids would humble you.
I'm going to say yes to adding to that Jimmy Jr. is doing what he does best in that he's the worst. This is probably one of his meanest episodes to Tina, I'd say. Until she has another option, he is blowing her off. It's so cruel. He thinks he's the shit, and he's keeping his options open. And I think that's what he does the best, unfortunately. Zeke's doing what he does the best, which is just supporting his best friend and being positive about anything and everything his best friend wants to do. Jen, who this is the first time we meet the babysitter, but she's doing what she does the best, which is not being a great babysitter. Louise and Jean always get Jen out of the house somehow. It's so funny.
Wait, hold on. We're bypassing very important moments.
about the raccoon.
Yes.
It's the first introduction of what is it, like Little Miss Trash Mouth?
Little King Trashmouth and Gary.
There's no such thing as a chaperone king.
Well, there wasn't a raccoon king in our alley until I went out there and picked my favorite one. His name's Little King Trashmouth. He's gay.
He's gay.
Yeah.
Why?
He's got a boyfriend. They just got married. Why?
Yeah.
It's so good.
I had
Yeah.
a moment where I was watching it and I was like, well, this must be the first time that she's talking about it, because I know there's full episodes about Little King Trashmouth. It was so random to like, I could imagine watching for the first time, you would be like, what is she talking about? But having the context of the other episodes, you're like, oh wait, this is actually a huge, this is gonna be a huge Linda moment. They're just subtly introducing it in this episode.
And as Max has pointed out to me many times, Bob's performance in responding to her monologue about these alley raccoons is so good. It's like, maybe.
Yeah, just lots of weird noises from Bob. Just like, Okay, next question is, was the family together enough?
Yeah, I think so. I think there were a bunch of scenes where it was the family together, bonding. And then they really got Jean and Louise there in there with Tina, too. Even though they broke up the family for, the grand finale, they sent them to 2 different dances, which was a choice.
I liked it. I liked the choice. Yeah, I say yes, too. I think I was going to say no, but then the episode starts in the kitchen, and it is such a strong scene. And then when Bob and Tina are getting ready for the dance, they're together again. They're in the diner or the restaurant sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes, too. And there's some really just like good scenes that we talk a lot about how what good parents Bob and Linda are. And I love how they treat Tina when she has interest in boys and multiple boys. There's no judgment. There's support. And Bob's like, yeah, go for the guy who isn't, treating you horribly. That's the one you should go hang out with. And it's just, I think there's plenty of good family scenes in this episode.
I love that he said that in the moment, and then also that she made the choice that she did to go for Josh. I was like, okay, Tina. Yeah. She's got a head on her shoulders.
I don't know if you felt your soul like shriveling, but when Jimmy Jr. gives her that soft maybe and Tina explains to us why, she's like,
That makes sense.
That does.
Because why tie yourself down now?
Yeah.
You want to know all the girls that might be interested so you could weigh them against each other.
Okay, see you later.
Okay, bye.
I don't know. I just was thrust into my early 20s and it's rough.
It sure is. I'm currently entering a new phase of life where I'm back in the dating world, and so I think maybe that's why this episode resonated so much with me. I was like, I'd say I wanted to take some notes from Tina. It's just funny because her articulating it and him being like, yeah, yeah, totally, and her, yeah, I get it, I understand. It was, yeah, it definitely. Definitely a moment that resonated.
I know you're partially joking, but if you had to take one piece of dating advice from this episode from Tina, what would you take?
Go with the yes. Go with the yes, not the maybe, but also date multiple people at once. Just
Love.
don't let them meet each other at a dance-off.
No dance-offs.
No dance-offs.
But if you do, just go for it. See if they're down to, start a throuple.
The weird, her holding their hands. Oh my God, she just pushed it too far.
Jimmy Jr. and Josh's faces the moment she grabs them both around the waist and they're just like, we should do this. It's so funny.
Josh's reaction's like, I don't think I'm comfortable. Okay, sorry to be the wet blanket feminist, but I feel like we've seen that scene with a dude and two girls a million times, and we're supposed to be okay, oh, he gets two girls. So that's what there's always a refreshing take, even if Tina made us want to melt into the floor.
We're talking about Josh a lot, and I just want to mention we were talking about voice acting, and it's Ben Schwartz as Josh, and not only a phenomenal visual actor, he's so funny on Parks and Rec and anything else he's in, but voice acting, he's great too. He's a really funny guy.
Yeah, it was a great role for him.
Okay, next question. Do the end credits give you that serotonin surge?
This was disappointing for me because I think that my least favorite part of the episode was the horse song.
T is for the way you take my breath away. I is for the way I like it when you take my breath away.
I just thought they could have done better. And so to have to listen to it again, it wasn't my favorite. So I would say no.
I didn't think the horse dance was it didn't make me laugh. Am I allowed to say that?
I agree.
You're allowed to say that.
Absolutely. I wanted it to. I mean, Jean poking out of the butt at the end of the scene kind of made me laugh.
You didn't help me seduce your sister. And he's like, that's what we were doing? That was great. The song, it didn't hit for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it went on a little too long, and I know that's kind of part of what is supposed to be funny is that it's uncomfortable and awkward, and the students standing around him are what's going on, but I didn't need to see it again.
Yeah.
And so I think it kind of fizzles out the end credits, and the Bob's Burgers end credits typically leave you in such a good mood, dancing, there's a song stuck in your head, and if this song's stuck in my head afterwards, I want to cry.
It was. You were singing it, and we were both singing it while we were making dinner last night.
Well, it is fun to sing it in Jimmy Jr.'s voice.
Yeah.
Well, because our other podcast, our main podcast, is about the end credits, Skylar and I have already rated these end credits on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm probably going to put that in here. I am going to give these a solid 7.5.
I think I'm going to give it a 7.5 too.
But we're going to ask you to rate them too on a scale of 1 to 10.
I mean, it was my least favorite part of the episode. So, I don't know. I'm not going to give it a 1, but I'll say a 3.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I can't remember what we rated it, but we'll see. And I'm pretty sure we didn't rate it that high.
It's hard to say because we were kind of fresh into the podcast, so we didn't see how amazing the credits can get. There have been some credits, particularly in the later seasons, that have made me cry. And I'm on a lot of Lexapro, so that means something.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Is the quintessential weird factor of Bob's Burgers present?
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, it's super weird. This is a weird episode.
Yeah. I mean, Tina's throuple lust at the end, although it wasn't my favorite, the horse stuff is weird. There's a dancing horse. It is quintessential Bob's weirdness for sure.
Yeah, even just some of the lines too, it was eat your sausage, leatherworking sausage bell. Like, it's just a weird show sometimes. That the Little King trash mouth. Just a lot of the fact that Jen, her puzzle was just 2 nails. Like, it's weird.
It's weird.
And obviously the finger too. That's so weird.
It's weird.
Little knobby knuckle.
It was weird.
Yeah. It's a bummer that we've seen this so many times because I think some of the best jokes just kind of pass over you now. But the fact that she got her knuckle stuck in a leaf blower is so specific. It's really funny and weird.
And she's a child as well. So I'm like, what are you doing with a leaf blower? Right? Like, she's in high school or something.
We don't know. I don't know.
She's timeless. She's ageless.
Yeah, she definitely is. And I also want to say that anyone who drinks peach and mint schnapps is weird.
Oh, I thought you were going to comment on my peach Snapple, but schnapps would not be my drink of choice.
I'm going to give that one a pass. Next question is, would you recommend this specific episode to a friend who has never seen the show?
I think that I would. I don't know if it's like is it the... Yeah, I think that I would. I don't know if I would recommend it first, but I would definitely recommend it. I think that's where I got stuck in your question.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of to make it more specific. Are there maybe 3 other episodes you would recommend before this one?
I mean, I picked it, so I would assume I would probably, I'd put it in my top 3.
But to be fair, you initially said
true.
that you wanted to do, what is it? Work hard or try or
I did, because I am a huge Die Hard fan. So to me, that is one of the episodes that I look to. I mean, so many of their titles are plays on other movies or TV shows. And as a screenwriter, I love that. And I do love any of the episodes where that is taking place. But I also love a school-centric episode of Bob's Burgers. And so I'm not a huge Teddy fan. Potentially controversial opinion. I love the school stuff more. Mm-hmm. And so this is one of those school episodes that I do enjoy. But yes, I would have picked the Die Hard episode probably first, which I did. So
people have very strong feelings about Teddy, so you're in good company. If you phrase it like that, Max, I have a lot of other episodes I'd probably recommend first, which is kind of unfair because we've watched, up through season 2, season 15. If it were on TV and I had a friend over, I'd be like, let's watch this. Let's see if you like it.
So what was your answer, Skylar? You've got very political on me here.
Well, what's your question?
Would you recommend this specific episode to a friend who has never seen it?
I won't be offended if you say no.
Yes, I would.
You would recommend it. Okay.
Would you?
I would not personally, and that's only because, and I'm gonna say this again, is that we've seen this the second half of the series, and I feel like there's such a good chunk of 3 or 4 episodes in there that are so you don't really have to have too much knowledge about the characters, and they just work better as one-offs, if that makes sense to me. But if you both say yes, it's a pass for sure.
Okay.
It's pass.
Perfect.
You're overruled.
Okay, next question is, will this episode cure your seasonal depression?
Yeah. Gives you a lot of good laughs.
Yeah, and it's weird. That's nice when you're depressed.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
It's just fun and like you said, weird. And it can take your mind off things.
Yeah, I just made a TikTok recently about how October is spooky season, but how for me it's also rom-com season because it's that, When Harry Met Sally, there's so many rom-coms in autumn. And so this could fall into that category of seasonal depression rom-com.
Yes. Okay, what's your favorite fall movie?
I think When Harry Met Sally. I think that to me is the quintessential New York fall movie. Yeah, I love it. That's my favorite.
It's perfect.
I love that movie. Okay, next question is, if you took the humor away, does the plot hold its own?
Yeah, I think it does. We have Tina in a love triangle, and then honestly, the humor of Linda wanting to give Bob this like experience that he never had as a child, and he was rejected by this girl and it's followed him forever and he never went to a dance. Yeah, I think there could be a dramatic episode of this series that has all these components.
100%. I think this was the question I was most excited for, just with your background in writing and plotting and all that.
Yeah, no, I think it works.
Yeah, I'll say yes too, and I kind of want to see the dramatic version now.
Yeah.
Next one is, did the episode / story leave you wanting more? Would you be excited for a part 2 of these storylines?
I mean, I think they both wrapped up pretty nicely. I don't know if they needed a part 2. So I don't think we needed a to be continued. I mean, obviously the Jimmy Jr. Josh saga continues. So that's really the only one that I'm intrigued by, but I feel like in this case it wrapped up everything in a nice bow.
I feel like we need to rewrite this question.
Let's do it now.
Bob's does such a good job of like wrapping up episodes. If, in season 15, what season is this, 3? Mm-hmm. So like years later, if we do another Jimmy Jr. and Josh battle, I'd be totally down. I would be totally down for another Wagstaff dance episode. So yes, but like definitely not a to be continued situation, which I feel like none of the episodes are unless they are 2-parters.
We have had some pass before, I think.
Well, okay.
If because of their antics, Linda and Bob got banned from all like future Wagstaff events, and they were trying to sneak in to, if there's, the graduation or the prom or something, to take photos, and that hot teacher is like, it's like, no, you can't come back after your last performance. I could see them trying to sneak in.
What's your answer, Max?
Okay. My first answer is that Bob's Burgers should hire Julia to write for them. I'm going to say no. I think it wraps up pretty well, and there's just, you could tell more of the story of like, they do tell Tina and Jimmy Jr.'s ongoing saga and stuff like that, but I think these particular stories, just like, it's good as is.
Okay, I'm going to agree, too.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. Next question is, was a song from the episode stuck in your head afterwards?
Ugh. In a bad way.
Same.
But it was.
It was. I just kept thinking about asthma. Because that also takes your breath away. Like, I was just like, ugh, stop singing. So, yeah, it was stuck in my head after.
Yeah, I think that's a definite yes, and it's an unfortunate yes.
It is.
And now it's stuck in my head now.
I know. And it will be for the rest of the day.
Yeah. And everyone watching this, because there will be a clip playing, you're going to have Jimmy Jr. singing in your head, too. So enjoy it.
You should just have it at, like, very low in the background of this entire episode, so that it like subconsciously merges into people's brains. Evil.
They just say, at the beginning they're like, what's going on here? Wait, was that Jimmy Jr. in the background?
Just like the subtle list.
Why do I keep hearing asthma? Okay, and the final question is, does at least part of the episode take place in the restaurant?
Yeah. Small part. Very small part. But it squeaks by.
That's all you need.
Great.
You just need a little bit of it. You
Do
need
some
one little.
episodes not take place at all?
Oh, yeah, like not at all.
Wow. I guess when they go on trips and stuff, but it usually like starts in the restaurant.
And some of them like start in the apartment, which is above the restaurant,
Right.
but they don't even go into the restaurant in the episode. So
Interesting.
I like that we end on just like a factual question.
yeah.
No opinion needed.
I see that we've got 11 out of 13, which means that 2 for Tina is a top tier Bob's Burgers episode.
Oh my god, I'm honored. Does like confetti erupt now out of the...
Sure, thank you for adding more work for me, but yes, I will have confetti for you.
Thank you so much. No, it's so great. I hope you guys weren't just being nice because I'm starting over at 35.
No, honestly, we mentioned Work Hard or Die Trying Girl was the first one we did, and it did not pass, believe it or not.
Are you serious?
Oh, is that an episode where there's no
No
restaurant?
Yeah.
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 Not that that means anything in the big scheme of things.
Yeah, I think it just fell short on like 1 or 2 questions that this one passed on.
Wow, that's wild. Well, that's a questions problem, I would say. But
It
Oh,
probably
fighting
is.
words.
No, I love it. I'm so happy. I have nothing to do with this episode. I didn't write it, so I don't know why I'm like happy that it. But just selecting it, oh, we go for the small wins nowadays.
I did not expect this, but this is our third episode of this, and every single person has been really nervous, like that the one that they chose, if it's going to pass or not. And I was like, I did not foresee the pressure being there, but built-in stakes, you know.
She's been watching the screenwriting TikTok.
I have been watching Julia's TikTok.
Wow. What a great time to have you plug whatever you're doing, whatever you want to plug right now.
You can find me on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter. It's just at Julia Yorks.
I know we have a lot of aspiring writers that listen to the podcast. Y'all, I cannot hype Julia's TikTok up enough. And you also consult. Like if you need help on your screenplay or pilot, she's your girl.
I wouldn't have even thought. Yes, absolutely. If you want to get eyes on your pilot and also get someone to help you either rewrite it, or you're thinking about writing a new feature and you're not quite sure how to write it or beat out the story, just check out my social media, and there's all the links in bio, as they say.
Perfection. Thank you so much for joining us. For those of you watching and you want more of Skylar and myself as well, as we mentioned, we host a podcast called Bob's Credits, where we go episode by episode through every Bob's Burgers episode with a focus on the end credits and kind of like a deep dive into them. Check it out. We're also Bob's Credits everywhere on the internet, every single platform you could think of. Thank you, Julia, for joining us, and thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you, guys.